What's up, you guys? We're playing 5-5-10 tonight, so wish me luck and hit that intro. Cheers.
With the guy Brantzen, who has the Brantzen poker logs.
No! Let's go!
Tell him he's got a lot of class, and it's all low.
I made one crucial change that made today one of the craziest sessions of my life. See, when I got to the table, I quickly realized I was playing with one of the wildest action players I've ever seen. Let's call him Rambo. The problem was that Rambo was on my left, meaning he would have position on me in almost every hand. So when a seat opened to his left, I took it. We're playing 5-5-10 today, and one of the first hands I play is Ace-9 of Spades Under the Gun. I open to $35, the button calls, and Rambo calls from the Straddle. We're 3 ways to a flop of King-King-8 Rainbow. Rambo checks, I check, and then the button checks. The turn is the King of Spades, bringing a third king, and Rambo leads for $50. Rambo could have the last king, maybe an 8, but honestly, I think my ace high is actually good against him a good amount of the time. If I call, the button should have a really hard time continuing with any hand that isn't a king, so screw it, let's go with gut instinct. I make the call, the button folds, and the river is the Queen of Spades. Rambo checks, my hand slightly improved to a flush, but any pair has me beat with a full house. I'm just hoping my gut was right in the first place. I check back, Rambo shows ace deuce of diamonds, and I win. Next up, I have Jack Queen of Spades in the Straddle, and the low jack opens to $45. The cutoff calls, Rambo's in the big blind, he calls, and I call as well. 4 ways to the flop, it comes 9 of spades, 10 of spades, 7 of clubs. I have an open-ended straight flush draw and 2 overs. It's a dream flop. Rambo and I checked the pre-flop aggressor, but she checks as well. The cutoff does not check, however. He makes it $100. I'm getting ready to raise, but then I see Rambo coming in on a warpath. He goes all in for $2,600. Okay, so, I can't fold, so I'm all in for my remaining $800. The other 2 players get out of the way. I tell him I have nothing. He says he has nothing. I ask him if he wants to run it once or twice. He says twice, so here we go. I have a million outs, but I don't know which ones are good. The first board comes the 4 of clubs, 2 of diamonds, nothing there. Okay. The second board comes the 10 of clubs, ace of clubs, nothing there. Oh no. Rambo flips over 4-8 of hearts. So he wins the first board with a pair of 4s, and I win the second board with queen high. We chop the pot, but honestly, it was a little tilting to chop as the 80% favorite, but hey, if we ran it once, I would have lost it all. Moving on, I pick up ace-jack of spades on the button. The under the gun limps, it folds to me, and I raise it up to $45. The small blind calls, the under the gun limper calls. We're 3 ways to a flop of jack 4 deuce rainbow. My opponents both check to me. I have top pair, top kicker, but it's a super dry board, so I bet small $45, and both of them call. The turn is the 8 of clubs, putting 2 clubs on the board, and the small blind leads out for $80. The under the gun calls. It's an odd card for the small blind to lead out on. It doesn't complete any straights or flushes, and even weirder, he picked a super small sizing. Since the under the gun didn't raise, I don't feel too worried about him either. I think I have to put in a raise to charge draws or prevent weaker jacks from naming their price. I raise to $300. The small blind calls, but the under the gun folds. The river is a 10, and the small blind checks. Personally, I felt like betting the river with just one pair would be a bit of an overplay, so I checked. He showed ace-3 of clubs for a missed draw. Wouldn't have gotten any extra money from that hand anyway, but let me know what you think of my play. I don't even have time to stack my chips because the very next hand I'm dealt is pocket kings. Let's freaking go. There's a $20 straddle. Rambo limps from the hijack. I gotta raise it up. I make it $80. The $10 straddle calls. The $20 straddle calls. Rambo calls. This pot is getting huge already. We're 4 ways to a flop of King 8-4 with 2 clubs, top set, Everyone checks to me. I debate whether I want to bet. Besides the flush draw, this board is pretty dry, and by holding 2 kings, I block a lot of top pair holdings that can call a bet. I'm going to slow play this one. I check, and the turn is the 3 of clubs. Great. The 3rd club, action checks to Rambo, and he puts out a bet of $200. Even if he has a flush, I can't get rid of top set to 1 bet. I call, and the other 2 players fold. The river is the queen of clubs. 4 clubs now, and my set of kings feel pretty pathetic. Thank God Rambo checks. I check back. Rambo says he just has a queen and flips over the queen of diamonds. Pretty ugly board for top set, but we took it down, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Next, I get the one hand better than kings, pocket aces on the button. Even better, there's a $40 triple straddle, so this pot is gonna get juicy for sure. Rambo limps from the cutoff. I raise to $160. The $40 straddle makes the call. Rambo makes the call. We're going 3 ways to a flop of 8 deuce 5 Rambo. Action checks to me. I bet small $160, trying to get a call from any pair or possibly even induce a raise. The straddle folds, but Rambo does not disappoint. He goes all in for $960. I snap call, and Rambo flips over 5-6 offsuit. Nothing but middle pair. Sorry, Rambo, it's over.
Nothing is over! Nothing!
Well, let's see if Rambo can defy the odds and come out on top again. The turn is a 6, giving Rambo 2 pair. The river is a 7, and just like that, I lose $2,400.
And I did what I had to do to win!
Alright, chill, Rambo. Anyways, back to the starting stack of $800. I pick up king queen off in the big blind. The hijack opens to $40. The small blind calls. It seems like a pretty good spot to 3-bet. I make it $200 and everyone folds. I'm definitely picking up some monster hands today. I get pocket aces again, this time in early position. It's a bomb pot, so we all put in $25 and go straight to a flop of 6 deuce 7 Rambo. In bomb pots, I often check in early position no matter what I have, so I check, and it checks to the low jack who bets $105. The button calls, and it folds to me. There's no possible straights on this board yet, so that's good. And with the button just flat calling, I decide to go the aggressive route of raising, and I make it $400. The low jack then goes all in for $600. The button folds. I'm not folding for another $200, so I make the call. The turn is a deuce, river 10. The low jack says her hand isn't very good. She's a friend of mine, so I just show first, and she mucks. Rambo busted out, so I wasn't able to get my revenge, unfortunately, but I was able to take down a few more small pots, building up my stack, which brings us to our last big pot of the night. I pick up 8-9 of spades in the cutoff. The low jack and hijack limp, so I raise it up to $55, and, well, the button calls, the straddle calls, both limpers call. We're 5 ways to a flop of king 10-9 with 2 clubs. The action checks to me. I'm not a fan of bluffing very often in multi-way pots. Since someone probably hit the board, I check, and the button checks as well. The turn brings an offsuit 7, and the action checks to me again. I know I just said I don't like to bluff multi-way, but I've now seen almost everyone check twice. I can't imagine anyone's very strong here, otherwise they probably would have bet. Plus, I now have increased equity with an open-ended straight draw to go along with my pair. I bet $125 and only the button calls. When he just calls, I'm putting him on a lot of single pair hands, draws, or a pair plus a draw type hand. We're off to a river, which comes the 7 of clubs, pairing the board and bringing in the flush. I only have a pair of 9s, so I don't think I have the winning hand here, but now I'm faced with the decision of whether to continue betting. The button could have a flush, definitely possible, but if he doesn't have a flush, the rest of his hands should feel pretty uncomfortable to another bet. Okay, I'm going for it. I bet $300. The button thinks about it, but then makes the fold. Let's go. And we take it down. A little after that, I decide to rack up and call it a night. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that session because that was probably the craziest session of my life, definitely of the vlog. Wild action player. I was able to move to his left, get in perfect position to catch some punts, got in amazing spots as a heavy favorite, and lost some major pots, 2K pots, 2.5K pots, but I was in the game for $800 and I was out for 24.28 for a profit of 16.28. Pretty nuts. And all things given, it was a nice score. I was really happy, but if those pots had got my way, that would have been one of the biggest wins of my life. So that's really unfortunate. But that's poker. Otherwise, I got extremely lucky. I had aces and kings, quite a bit. And yeah, things went well. Got a couple bluffs through. But I hope you enjoyed that session. And I'm Brantzen, and I'll see you in the next one.